designed and built this V8 Daimler dragster. I built it in 1970 and brought it onto the track in 1972. It was one of the very first, if not the first, rear-engine purpose-built dragster to be built in England. I raced it for 20 years, so from 1970 to 1990, where I was European champion 14 times, RAC champion in 82, and hold 2 world records with it. The engine produces 1,400 horsepower from 2.5 litres, 10 times its original horsepower, and the engine is primarily stock parts. This proves that the Daimler engine, designed by Edward Turner, is extremely strong and very, very reliable. When I was racing it, of course, the car was extremely fast. It accelerated from 0 to 100 in 1.2 seconds, and that took 66 feet to travel. So that equates to about 4 3/4 Gs. So it's even better than the biggest ride, that the thrill rides that they get these days. That tapered off to about 1.5 Gs and accumulated in travelling 1/4 mile, 440 yards, in 7 seconds. The vehicle consumes 4 3/4 gallons of fuel. Nitromethane is the fuel, and it's 57 pounds a gallon, so it's even more expensive than the wife. Last year I drove it for the first time in 25 years, and I got in, and I cannot tell you what the first 100 mile an hour was like. I'd forgotten how quick this thing travelled. It was awesome, almost to the point of being frightening. Fortunately, I still had memories and remember how it was. But when you get used to this, you do not realise the G-forces involved. You just get used to it. Rather like Formula 1 cars, where they drive at 200 mile an hour and go into a bend at 180 and they don't even think about it. Whereas someone like you and I would be very, very scared about that. Well, of course, I being in drag racing, I'm into custom cars, so a lot of the cars are interesting in that respect. But some of the engineering, the modifications, Ford Pops with V8 engines in, Morris Thousands with V8 engines. The engineering involved is very close to my heart. Innovation was what I did. I built this car myself out of my own parts, designed it all, manufactured just about everything on the car, and so that part of it is the major interest to me. And I admire a lot of these guys because they have the same skills. Even though we appear not to have those skills these days, they are still here. It's just not used every day, unfortunately, anymore. Our production base is virtually nil now. The country seems to be in services industry rather than production. And it's a real shame because there are superb designers and engineers out there. And they don't have the opportunity to use their skills to the satisfaction that I have over the years. Well, it's a lovely venue, isn't it? You know, it's gorgeous, and of course it's all, you know, all these fabulous cars that are here, and the museum is just superb, you know, with all those cars, which I can remember when I was a young lad. Being a dinosaur, this is all cars that I remember when I was a young lad and drove in my teens. We didn't have fast cars like they did then. We had Ford Pops and Standard 8s and things like that, you know, which were what we thought were the bee's knees at that time. Yes, the event is superb. I mean, you know, these sort of things are lovely because it gives all the chaps the opportunity to show their cars, and each one of these, their own individual, they have pride in their own car. They think their car is the best here, is always the way. All people who own these always think this. You know, they all get together and they appreciate each other, and it's just nice to see the diversity of different cars, both American and European vehicles as well. You know, it's not just you know, hot rod customs, it's other cars as well.